Hello everybody and welcome, I am Bricker Boom, and today we're going to see if we can beat the game Pokemon FireRed with only a Nidoran male and a Nidoran female. We did the games with the fully evolved forms solo run each, but I wanted to take a look at the pre-evolved forms. Now, I know this run is possible because I just watched Madry Bread do this a few years ago. I just watched it, but he uploaded it a few years ago. But I've been working on this for a little while, and I really didn't want to delay the video. But with 1,000 Pokemon and 9-ish games to do solo runs in, it's only a matter of time before videos begin to cross over. That, and I still haven't fully finished Gens 7 through 9. Maybe I'll do that on stream. But now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the stats for each of them. They both have about the same BST, with pretty close to the same stats total. The thing with them is the wide variety of moves that they're able to learn. Given how their stats are, I'll probably try to make one a physical attacker and one a special attacker. You know that I don't really fish for particular abilities, so we'll just have to see what happens. We give the rival Charmander, given the fact that it's probably the hardest for us to go against. Venusaur, we'd resist some of the moves, and then Blastoise, we can learn electric moves. It just made sense for Charizard. For brief coverage of the rules, we can only use both of our Nidorans in battle. We can and will need other Pokemon outside of battle for HM use. Items are permitted outside of battle, we just can't use them inside of battle. We go ahead and start with Nidoran Male, and with the rival, he sends out Charmander, and just like any other time, this battle is pretty much a gimme, though admittedly it did come a little bit closer than I would have liked, but thanks to Poison Point, we poison him near the end of that battle for that little bit of extra chip damage to be able to take him down and win with a little bit of HP to spare. Speaking of ability, we have Poison Point as an ability and an Adamant Nature. That means our attack gets a boost while our special attack goes down. Honestly, that is the best possible nature that we could roll, and it didn't require a restart. And real talk, I don't know enough about these totally legit cartridges to give myself a certain nature or certain IVs, so we're good. Anyway, we have Peck, so that allows us to move through Viridian Forest pretty easily. I thought that we could catch a Nidoran female before fighting the optional rival, but it turns out the female is only able to be caught after the first gym. That's fine, because along the way, we also learn Double Kick, so we're going to be able to take Brock down pretty easily. Speaking of Steamroll, well, we actually don't Steamroll through the rival. Due to Sand Attack, it was actually a lot closer than I had figured it would be. At the end of the day, we still managed to pull off a victory and then double back and head through the forest and in Pewter City. We could take out the junior trainer, and then it's time to face Brock. Given the fact that we have Double Kick, this isn't much of a problem. We can Double Kick the Geodude, getting a nice critical hit on one of those attacks. Now, if this were Gen 1, both of those Double Kicks would have been a crit. Onix is faster, setting up Bind, using Tackle, and being a nuisance overall, but we also take it down pretty easily to win the battle and the badge. Now, while we take the time to go through these trainers and go find a Nidoran female, you should subscribe to the channel and like the video. Hopefully you've been enjoying the content. I'm still focusing on getting to that 1,000 subscribers and of course getting watch hours. I've also been trying to make the videos a little bit longer, going into a little bit more detail. At the moment of writing this script, I've received 2 run requests as of my last video. A Shroomish to Breloom run and a Ralts run, both in Pokemon Emerald, so expect those to be coming down the pipe soon. And I did just see that Ralts can't learn Confusion till level 6, so that'll be a full level of struggle grinding. Ashura, you're a monster. Thanks. So with the Nidoran female, the problem is, we never find one. We're supposed to be able to find them on Route 3, but none of them ever pop up. We spend a good 20 to 30 minutes hunting, and about 2 hours of that in-game due to our speed-up option, and none never pop up. I check a couple different sites to make sure, and every site said that there should be a Nidoran female popping up there. But after so long hunting, I just end up making a new file. The only difference is, this time it's with a Nidoran female, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to find Nidoran male in the grass. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to go ahead and skip forward a little bit. Poison Point ability is the same. It has a quirky nature, which is neutral stat gains. We complete the beginning game stuff with the lab rival battle, the optional battle, Brock, and now we're back to the moment of truth. Not even 5 encounters in, we're able to snag ourselves a male Nidoran, and it has the same nature. That isn't the best for us, but beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. At the very least, with this in mind, either of them can likely be the physical or special attacker. They won't necessarily be good at it, but they shouldn't be too bad either. The biggest thing I think is going to come into play throughout this run is going to be our frailty and likely inability to be able to land a one-shot. So, after beating up a man for his fossil, I know the point is to only take one, but it's not like he could stop me if I wanted both. My monsters knocked out his monsters, and I could take it from him, but I'll go ahead and move on. In hindsight, I wish I would have brought in Everstone so I don't have to stop them from evolving every level, but that's at least something I know I can apply in future runs. We go to Cerulean and take out the trainers in Misty's gym, though we are definitely not ready to fight her. We go ahead and challenge the rival first, and this takes ages. We send out Nidoran female to fight Pidgeotto as it hits us with Sand Attack, and we trade attacks back and forth for a good while before taking it down. Abra can't fight back, so we go ahead and switch out to essentially erase the accuracy drops and take out the Abra. With Rattata, we're running low on HP, but we do land a double kick to take it out and learn Bite. Charmander uses Ember as we use Horn Attack, and we once again trade attacks back and forth, and it gets a burn at the end, but thankfully it's at the end, and we still have enough HP to go ahead and take it down. We go through the route to the north, taking down the trainers, and then in no time at all, it's time to fight Misty, and it goes horribly. Between the damage absolutely wrecking us with Water Pulse and us smacking ourselves a few times, we don't stand a chance. We try this multiple times, but the luck just isn't there. So we end up needing a little bit more force. We head south and begin leveling up that way, fighting some of the additional trainers that are available to us, and even hitting up 1 or 2 to the north that we missed on our first go-round. Now this time around, we are still getting hit hard with Water Pulse, but we can take it down with a single Horn Attack from Nidorino. Starmie comes out and takes us down to 5 HP and confuses us, but we can at least push past that and land a little damage before going down. Water Pulse doesn't quite do half now to Nidoran female, and we bite it to yellow. For whatever reason, Misty doesn't use a potion or recover, and it Water Pulses us again to 7 HP, confuses us, but we actually push past it to bite again and take the win. Thank goodness. Now, with the ship, for the first time in a while, we make sure to take out every single trainer that's available to us. Given the fact that we've run into trouble with the rival fight and the gym, I want to make sure that we're somewhat leveled up. I'm not 100% sure how future fights are going to be for us, but given how we can't even one-shot a majority of the trainers, I don't have too much hope. Pidgeotto is first and hits us with Quick Attack as we take it to nearly half. It uses Quick Attack again and we take it to red. Thankfully, the next turn we can take it out since it moves second. We swap over to Nidoran female, and yeah, I should have definitely nicknamed them. Kadabra uses Kinesis and we miss, then spins the next few turns using Disable as we use Bite to take it out. We swap back to the boy, a la God of War, as Raticate comes out and it uses Hyper Fang as we double kick it, and then the leftover poison damage takes it down. Charmeleon's Ember takes the boy down to 2 HP as we get some quick damage with Horn Attack, then we swap to the female. It uses Smokescreen as we bite, and thankfully we don't get punished with misses, as it uses Ember while we finally take it down with a few attacks. After giving the captain a quick rub down, we head into the gym, and then it's time to fight Surge. With the Voltorb, we're back to these long slugfest-style battles. It hits with Shockwave, we hit with Double Kick, and it's basically just continuing to do that until one of us ends up fainting. We take it to red and Surge potions up. After that, we trade a few more attacks before going down. We swap to Nidoran male, who's able to finish the job, and then after that, it's Pikachu, who thankfully goes down in a single dig. After that, Raichu begins double teaming, and against better judgment, we use Dig. We actually connect and take it to yellow, and Shockwave takes us nearly to red. We end up digging again for whatever reason, and despite all odds, we managed to knock it out, stealing the next badge. As we begin to make it through the cave, I'm gonna do my little review that I usually do after the 4th badge a little bit early today. This is rough. The Nidorans definitely aren't built to be doing any type of duo run like this. Every Pokemon that we go against takes multiple hits to knock out, and while we have a wide move variety, I'm not sure our special attack or attack is going to be good enough to do the job. Time will tell, and I'll absolutely be learning some more moves to see if it's something that we can pull off. I don't doubt that we'll be able to beat the game, but I can see us being at a higher level than normally what we would be at. We might be at level 100, I'm not sure. Had we been able to keep the Adamant Nature male and maybe got something special attack related for the female, maybe we'd be in a little bit better shape. But either way, we make our way to Celadon City, and given the fact that we'll have a decent shot at it, we make our way to the Giovanni fight. Now, with Giovanni, I could see him being an issue as we go down the road, but for right now, I think we'll be fine. Onix is first, and we open with Double Kick, and it isn't doing the most damage, but it's doing fine. Thankfully, though, Onix does go for a Rage, and while it does build a little, we can still take it out with plenty of HP to spare. Rhyhorn is next, and we double kick it as it hits us with our... Rhyhorn is next, and we double kick it as it hits us, our Poison Point activates. We take it to a Sliver, and then the leftover poison damage is enough to knock it out. With Kangaskhan, for the first time I can think of, it doesn't open with Fake Out, and instead uses Tail Whip. We hit a soft double kick before it overkills us with a Mega Punch. We swap over to Nidoran Male, and it punches us, gets poisoned, and we double kick it. For whatever reason, it just uses Bite to leave us with 1 HP, and then we can thankfully take it out. That only took 6 tries. Going into the Erica fight, I feel pretty confident overall. Main reason is that we can't be poisoned by her, and although other status powders can take effect, we should be fine. Victory Bell is first, and this portion of the battle takes a few full minutes. Erica ends up healing up once, but we're just not doing too much damage to each other. Thankfully, we win the war of attrition here, and we can take it out. Tangela's up next and sets up Ingrain as we do solid damage with Bite. It uses Constrict, which doesn't do much, but it does end up poisoning itself. We take it down to almost red with another Bite, and Erica ends up full healing to get rid of the poison, and that allows us to bite it to take it down. When Vileplume comes out, it uses Giga Drain to knock us out, and we send out the Nidoran Male. Peck is doing about a fourth, and it misses Stun Spore, and the next one takes it to about half as Stun Spore lands. We can land a few more Pecks as it swaps to using Acid as we finish it off a few turns later, winning us the badge. Time to hustle back to the tower and see how we do. Now that Kadabra is gaining speed and power, well, let's just see what happens. The rival sends out Pidgeotto, and we send out Nidoran Female, opening up with Bite to do about a quarter damage as Sand Attack connects. We get hit with Quick Attack and miss Bite, so we swap over to Nidoran Male, getting Quick Attacked again and again, finally taking it down 2 Horn Attacks later. Next up is Execute, and we swap back to Nidoran Female. We use Bite, taking it to low red and flinching it, so we can take it out without being punished. Kadabra's up next and misses Disable as we take it to red, and then he uses Disable again for some reason, so we can take it out too. Gyarados is out and we stay in, so Nidoran Male doesn't deal with the Intimidation drop. We bite it to almost half thanks to a critical hit, and it uses Thrash, poisoning itself, and then we bite it again to take it to yellow, flinching it, the poison taking it to red, and then we can take it down. Last is Charmeleon, and we continue biting, doing about a quarter damage as it flinches not once, but twice, letting us take it to red as it finally attacks with Ember before we take it down. I'm not 100% sure if we would have beaten it without the crazy amount of flinch luck, but I'm certainly not complaining. Now that we're through the tower and Cycling Road, it's time for the new game located within the game, Safari Zone Scramble. During our trip through the Safari Zone, we encounter a Nidorino that runs away from us after a few attempts to catch it. Then Parasect runs as well, and I'm thinking that we may not have anything we'll catch this time. Then we encounter an Execute, and it also runs. Then another Nidorino runs. We finally break the bad luck streak by catching a Paris. We then encounter a Rhyhorn that we catch, another Rhyhorn that runs, another Rhyhorn that runs, an Execute that we catch, another Rhyhorn that runs, and a Nidoran that we catch, and another Paris, and another Paris. And then finally another Rhyhorn and a Chansey that runs, and we finish with our last ball on a Nidoran male. In one Safari Zone trip, we effectively thinned out the Paris and Rhyhorn hordes. Time to fight Koga. Return takes about a quarter of Koffing's health, and it hits us with Smokescreen, and then we crit the next return to take it down. With Muck, we swap over to Nidoran female, and we spend a long time going back and forth with Tail Whips, Water Pulses, but given the fact that it has Acid Armor and Minimize, it can win the long back and forth that we do end up having. We swap back to Nidoran male, and unfortunately, we don't live too long afterwards, and we end up going down after a few Sludge Bombs. We try this battle a handful of times, but don't seem to be getting much of it anywhere, so we end up going to Silph Co. Now, there's a very good chance that we're not going to be able to beat the rival, but I can't help but feel like we should try. Pidgeot is first, and Wing Attack does pretty good damage. Even with confusing it, it whittles us down pretty well before the rival switches to Execute. We swap to Bite, but even that isn't doing too great of damage, and it takes us down. When we swap to Nidoran male, it ends up paralyzing us, outspeeding us the next turn, and one-shotting us. Well, there's that. Without too many options, we do a few things to help. We do a few upgrades to our moveset, but due to the fact that we're getting one-shotted by the rival and Koga is so bulky, we don't have much of a choice but to level up. We're unfortunately getting into the hardest part of the game, and the two Nidorans, given the fact that they are first-form Pokemon, just aren't able to keep up anymore. So, we level up, and I have a feeling that that's going to happen more than once throughout the duration of this run. But let's hop into the Koga fight. We can send out Nidoran male first and try to bait the self-destruct that Koffing keeps doing to us. With Nidoran male, we're getting Smokescreen to Oblivion, but for whatever reason, Koga never uses self-destruct, which is fine. I think it's because his health is not going below a quarter until he was knocked out, being the main reasoning behind that, but I'm not 100% sure. So when it's time for Muck, we switch over to Nidoran female, so we don't have to worry about the accuracy drops. With the Muck, we basically just keep using Ice Beam until we freeze it, then swap over to Shockwave. Koga heals up, but we can take it down, but due to the fact that Muck did attack us some, our HP isn't the best. The next Koffing is kind enough to go down to 2 Ice Beams, and then with the Wheezing, we actually freeze it, and by the time it dethaws, we just go ahead and confuse it. We do get knocked down to about 10 HP, but it smacks itself in the face to win us the battle. Even if Nidoran female did faint, I think we'd still be okay since we still have Nidoran male in the background, and he hadn't done much. Now, I don't think we're ready to do the Silph Co battle, so we go ahead and fight Blaine. We have Dig and Water Pulse, so fingers crossed. Yeah, it's not even close to being close. Fire Blast, despite having not so great accuracy, burns us to a crisp time and time again, so we do a couple things. The first is to obviously do a little level up. The second is to go ahead and buy some vitamins. Given the fact that our speed is atrocious, I don't spend too many vitamins worrying about that. We mostly focus on attack for Nidoran male, and then special attack for the Nidoran female. We can't buy too many, but I'd rather have a few vitamins than none at all, and also it does save us from having to hopefully level up even more. So, let's go ahead and try the rival fight first. Pidgeot is first and goes to red with Ice Beam, hitting us with Wing Attack, then goes down. Execute goes down to a single crunch, and then Alakazam only sets up Future Sight before going down to a single crunch as well. Then we can take Gyarados down to red with Shockwave. It only retaliates with Leer before also going down. As Charizard comes out, we end up taking the Future Sight attack for decent damage. Flamethrower takes us to 1 HP, so we can do a little bit of damage before we get knocked out. As we send out Nidoran male, Flamethrower takes us right around half, but thankfully Return is powerful enough to knock it down. At this point, Giovanni is a joke. I hope. Water Pulse does about a quarter damage, and it can only do Poison Sting. We swap to Crunch to test damage and takes it below half. Horn Attack does some damage, and we can take it down. We swap to Nidoran Male and get faked out by Kangaskhan. We then double kick, taking it below half. Rage is probably still one of the worst moves in existence, so another double kick knocks it out. We swap back to Nidoran Female upon Rhyhorn coming out, and we can take it out in one shot. Last is Nidoqueen, and a Water Pulse does decent damage as the Queen tail whips. We swap over to Ice Beam, and that takes it to red as Body Slam. It does some solid damage with a critical hit and paralysis. Thankfully, though, the double kick is easily shrugged off, and we don't stay paralyzed, so we can take it out and move on. With that, I don't have too much confidence in taking down Sabrina, given the fact that she has very speedy Pokemon. So, what we go ahead and do, given the fact that she's also super effective against us, we head to Blaine and see how we do there first, now that we have a couple more levels under our belt, along with a few more vitamins. We can take down the first 3 of Blaine's Pokemon with Water Pulse, mostly because of Fire Blast miss from the Rapidash. The good news is, dude spent a long time keeping his Ponyta alive, so I'm hoping that he's completely out of potions by the time we get to Arcanine. We can take a bit of its health out before going down to Fire Blast. With that, we swap over to Nidoran Male. We get hit down to 30 HP with Fire Blast, but then we can take it out to win the battle. Time to head back to Sabrina, and at this level, we outspeed Kadabra and take it out with a super effective Crunch. Next up is Mr. Mime, and we continue with the Crunch attacks, taking it to a Sliver and lowering its special. It sets up Barrier, and then Sabrina heals up. We do another Crunch, and that takes it down. As Alakazam comes out, we cross our fingers, and it just uses Future Sight, so it goes to red, and we lower its special. Sabrina heals up, and then we can take it down. Last is Venomoth, the least threatening member of her team, and we take it to yellow. Psybeam does some decent damage, and we take the Future Sight attack before taking it down. Let's head to Giovanni and see how we do. Rhyhorn goes down to a single Water Pulse, and Dugtrio hits hard with Earthquake before it goes down. With Nidoqueen, we hit pretty hard with Ice Beam, and Earthquake takes us down to 4 HP. But since we lived it, we can take it down for the victory. Last is Nidoking, and we can take it to red, and Giovanni heals up a few times, but then we can take it down to win the battle, because the last Rhyhorn is never a problem at any given time. Given how long this script is, because we're about at 10 pages and counting, and as of recording, I just hit the 25-minute mark. I'm probably going to be able to trim this down to hopefully around 20 minutes, but we're just going to show the losing attempts here. Alakazam is a nightmare. I'm glad that I didn't have any kind of minus speed nature, but now I am wishing that there would have been a plus speed nature to be able to do something, but at level 80, this is what happens. Pidgeot is a one-shot with Ice Beam, and when Alakazam comes out, it misses Disable, letting us knock it to red. It does end up disabling our Crunch next turn, so we have to swap attacks. Now you can see here how much damage a single Psychic does to us, but we can thankfully take it out. Rhyhorn goes down to one shot, and Gyarados is kind enough to do the same. Charizard knocks us out with a wing attack, but gets poisoned on the way out. Swapping over to Nidoran Male, we can knock out the Charizard with a single return. With Execute, we can knock it to red as it paralyzes us. It does begin setting up for Solar Beam, and thankfully we don't stay paralyzed, so we can take it out and get to the Elite Four. And along the way to the Elite Four, we make sure to do some shopping. One, we want to make sure that we have any additional TMs that we may need, and so I don't make the same mistake I did in my Butterfree Beedrill video, we also make sure to grab some revives. And with that in mind, it's time to fight Lorelei and cross our fingers. We did fight some trainers along the way to the Elite Four, and these are our stats before going against them. Overall, these are pretty bad. They're not the worst we've dealt with, but I have a feeling that we're going to struggle at least once. I think we'll be able to win with enough attempts, but I think that we're going to have to level up to get past some of the Elite Four members. Most likely the Champion and maybe Lance. But let's take a look at Lorelei first. Lorelei sends out Dugong, and we start with Nidoran Male, knowing that Double Kick will likely be our best bet. Double Kick takes it below half, and we tank a fairly hard-hitting Ice Beam before taking it down with another attack. With Cloyster, we know that it's going to be knocked out easy with anything special attack related, so we swap to Nidoran Female and take it to red with Shockwave. Lorelei does heal up, but we take it down a few turns later. Next up is Slowbro, and we can take it below half with Shockwave as it merely sets up Amnesia. Then we swap over to Crunch, taking it down before it can attack. With Lapras, we swap back to Nidoran Male, beginning to double kick as we smack ourselves in confusion thanks to Confuse Ray. We get hit with Ice Beam, but thankfully we attack next turn as the berry activates, and then it knocks us out. We swap back over to Nidoran Female, and Shockwave can finish it off. Last up is Jinx, and we critical hit it with Crunch to take it down in one shot. Not sure if that crit mattered, but 1 down, 3 to go. Bruno is up next, and the first Onix is out, and it goes down to Water Pulse, and the same can be said with the second Onix as well. With Hitmonchan, we swap over to Nidoran Male, and we can take it to just below half as it misses Rock Tomb, allowing us to take it out without being hit. With Hitmonlee, we take it to red with Return, and then it hits us hard with Mega Kick, and then Bruno spins a few turns healing before it goes down. Last is Machamp, and we hit it to almost half with Return as it uses Bulk Up. We swap over to Peck since it has super effective damage and Machamp misses Scary Face. The berry brings it to about half and we hit Peck once more, but we get a critical hit this time, taking it down to win us a fairly simple battle. This is going quite well, and I'm suspicious about how well they are currently doing. With Agatha, I will be surprised if we outspeed many of her Pokemon, and unshockingly, the first Gengar does outspeed us and uses Double Team. We thankfully connect with Crunch and take it to red. Agatha heals up and we connect with another Crunch to take it back to red. We do get hit with Shadow Punch, but we swap over to the never-missing Shockwave to take it down. When Haunter comes out, we use Crunch, nailing it with a critical hit and knocking it out. As the next Gengar comes out, we take it to almost red, and it misses a Hypnosis, thankfully. We then land another Crunch after tanking a weak Shadow Ball and knocking it out. When Golbat is out, it connects with a weak attack and goes to a little below half. It then hits us with Wing Attack before going down to another Shockwave. With Arbok, we keep Nidoran Female out because given the fact that it has the Intimidate ability, we don't want the lowered attack on our physical attacker. We open with a weak Water Pulse and it crits to knock us to 4 HP. We hit it again with Water Pulse and it misses. Then we swap to Ice Beam, take it to red, and freeze it. Agatha heals and we manage to land a couple Water Pulses before its bite takes us out. Not sure why it didn't just do that to begin with. We swap over to Nidoran Male and another Iron Tail misses, allowing us to take it out and win the battle. Next up, we can face off against Lance, and given how the rest of the Elite Four went, I feel alright enough about this battle. Dragonite is 4 times weak to Ice, and the 2 Dragonairs are at least 2 times weak to it as well, so let's see how we do. With Gyarados, we can take it to low yellow as Lance heals up. We can send it back to red with a higher roll on the damage, and then we take it down. Aerodactyl does a decent bit of damage with Ancient Power, and we actually nail it with a critical hit to take it down. With Dragonite, we take it to red and get the freeze, and Lance doesn't heal up, and we take it down. After that, it's simple enough to take down the 2 Dragonairs, so we actually have a first try victory against Lance. Final rival time. The rival starts with Pidgeot and hits us with Sand Attack, but we still connect with Ice Beam to take it to red. The rival heals as we use Shockwave to guarantee a hit. Wing Attack does some solid damage as we take it down next turn. After that, it's Alakazam, and it can knock us out with 1 Psychic each and easily outspeeds us as well. I had a feeling this whole thing was going a little too easily. So this takes a lot of attempts. There's a few things that we need to happen for it. The biggest thing we need is Alakazam not to attack, and as I'm posting some of these attempts, you can see that doesn't really happen. Sometimes it'll use Barrier and then go on its rampage, knocking out both of the Nidoran. The other thing would be to survive a hit, or outspeed it so we can knock it out. Even if we reach level 100, I'm pretty sure we'd still be slower than it. These lost attempts do end up taking us all the way to level 95, which is rough. I was hoping that we'd be able to beat it at a much lower level, but let's take a look at what feels like attempt number 95. Pidgeot is first, and with a critical hit, we're able to take it down with a single shockwave. Alakazam is next, so we can send out Nidoran Male to take it to about half as it sets up Reflect. It takes us down to 12 HP and lowers our special before we take it down. Executor is next, so we use a weak Peck to at least do a little damage before it knocks us out with Egg Bomb. We swap back over to Nidoran Female and finish it off with Ice Beam. The Rhydon is an easy one-shot as well. With the Gyarados that's next, we're able to take it to red, or just about red, and the rival spends a long time healing it, repeatedly, before allowing it to go down. Last is Charizard, and it hits us with Fire Blast, taking us to 26 HP as we hit it for a little bit of damage. Slash takes us all the way to 1 HP, and it poisons itself, but thankfully a Water Pulse is enough to take it down and put this challenge to an end. That was rough, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Sorry it came out a little bit later than expected, but it's fine. As of writing this script, a friend was kind enough to give me a 6TB external hard drive, so that means I'll actually be able to work on multiple runs at once. My computer itself didn't have enough space to work on too many things, so I'm hoping this will help with video production. I know here soon I want to do a Pidgey and Spearow run, but that one might have to wait a few weeks before I'm brave enough to do that one, especially after today. Like and subscribe to the video and the channel, Discord, Patreon, you know the drill. And as always, if you like the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button, because it does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out.